Everyone. We'll try this again. I want to welcome our guest, Tom Nanninga from Midwest HR. Let me see if I can bring him in here this time. Okay. How are you doing, Tom? Good. Appreciate you joining us today. So can you go ahead and give us a little bit of background on Midwest HR? So I'm just going to kind of keep going back and forth here. The reason for the two of us getting together today is the fact that we all are kind of working towards the same goal of having the work from home issues today. It seems to be a hot button across a lot of different locations, a lot of different customers. And Tom and I got together. We've kind of figured that we'd be able to put some good information out there for everybody. Apologize, just got a little bit of feedback. So, Tom, do we have, with work from home, can you explain to us what work from home is for you guys and what it means? Customers, and we've kind of figured that.
As equipment, computers, printers, you name it, security systems all set up so that on Monday morning, all 25 or so of our employees could do their job as if they were sitting at their desk. So with that, there were several challenges as you move everybody's workspace from one confined space in this building to 25 different offices around the area. I have always believed, and it's our belief here at Midwest HR, that you should have a policy for pretty much everything that involves your employees. Basically what it does, it sets the expectations for everyone, you as to what you will do as the employer, and for your employees as to what is expected from them. It's kind of like a roadmap of how we can set this up to make sure it works well and continues to work. So I would definitely say, yes, working from home can be more efficient, less distractions, less overhead for the business, less operating expenses. But having a policy to set that roadmap, I think, is very important. Culture, where a bad policy can do just the opposite. So we want to make sure that we write a good HR policy that continues on with the good culture you've been experiencing when you had everybody together. Well, definitely in the policy, you have to lay out who has access to your work computer. That is a work computer and should not be used as the family computer at night. We have very sensitive information, especially for us, being an HR company that does payroll for thousands of people each and every week. We have to make sure that our passwords are protected, that we use two-factor authentication in whatever we do and wherever we can use it. And any paper documents that are also taken home, that those are secured in separate folders and locked up each night. But I think the most important part about securing the data and all of the HIPAA guidelines is having a good IT company such as BKS to ensure that on the IT side, we're very protected. Our servers, our cloud servers, all of that is locked down. Okay, that's a pretty loaded question. Let me see where I can start here. But going back to what can be done, there are so many studies out there that productivity can be affected. Studies that show it can be affected in a positive way, studies that show it can be affected in a negative way. I think where we've been fortunate is that a large portion of what we do on a daily basis is we have to get these hundreds of payrolls out each and every day. So for our supervisors, they're able to check in our systems. Okay, John Smith had to process 36 payrolls today. At the end of the day, did he get those 36 payrolls done? And knowing on past history when they were in the office, 36 payrolls in a day is a pretty heavy day. But Teams, that's what I wanted to mention. You had, right before we had went home on lockdown, you had recommended that we set up Teams, which is a lot like Zoom. And what that allowed all of our supervisors and all of our teams do was to have consistent, constant contact with each other. So when you're in this office building and you have a quick question, you would either get up or you would send an email or something like that. And it basically works the same thing with Teams. We can actually do the video chat, boom, pull you up. You're at your workspace at home from working. We can work on an issue and get through it. I've seen other companies in our industry really take the whole Teams/Zoom thing to the extreme, holding multiple team meetings every day just to ensure people are productive. I think that kind of takes it too far, and that goes back to affecting the culture in a negative way. But I do believe a big thing that we have to keep in mind when we do have a work from home option is that we need to trust our employees. There is an element of trust. As far as those employees go, they work for you for a reason, and they're still with you for a reason, and that reason shouldn't change when they go home. Some of the distractions that they can look at when they're at home. The big thing right now that we're all trying to figure out is all of our kids could be e-learning or remote learning from home. And as parents, we have to make sure that those children get online and do their studies with their school. So it opens up a little bit of a can of worms of how is my employee going to work at the same time their kids have to do remote e-learning. So every day we're refining, our suggestions to our client on how to make that work. Other things are it's very hard or very easy when you're at home to go, you know what, I got to run to the store because I'm out of milk. Or, you know what, let me just pop in one load of laundry real quick, in between phone calls, or having the TV on in the background that can be very distracting. So some of those things we have to look at, as well as there are studies that say work comp injuries can be reduced, but at the same time, you could have issues with work comp because is your workspace at home ergonomically friendly? Or are you stuck in a folding chair at a card table in the living room and hunched over that card table today? So there's a lot of different issues that you need to work out with your employees, with your HR professional to write that policy, just to make sure some of those distractions are abated as much as possible. I, I personally like the idea of promoting culture, having that faith in your employees. You can always check to make sure that the work is being done. We all know what work has to be done each and every week. That's what we do. And as the individual supervisors and managers watch that work, they're watching it on a daily basis. They're knowing what gets done, what doesn't get done. Um, but I do see where there'd be some industries where you would need software to be able to track an employee who's on the computer, and you need to know when and how long. Uh, but basically, we're going on the honor system right now. Trust, but verify that the work is being done. Correct. Well, right now, everything is so fluid. Um, even our block of 25 employees, school districts are changing each and every week as to what those requirements are. But I think it might be a little foolish to believe that any employee that has young children at home, that it would be as simple as getting them logged on in the morning and 4 hours later, checking that they're off the computer. I can tell you from personal experience with a fourth grader, they were given 7 different computer programs that they had to use throughout their workday, which made it very challenging for a 10-year-old to figure out. Now, hopefully over the summer, a lot of those programs that our children would be using to remote learning have been refined a little bit and made a little easier for our children to use. But I think it's really going to boil down to each employee and their circumstances. We have payroll people that would have to be there to do their payrolls and make sure they get all electronic files out and sent to the bank by 4:30 in the afternoon. But we also have other departments too, whereas, okay, maybe if they started work a little bit later, got their kids on, got their kids going, they still could put 8 hours in for the day. But to say there's a catch-all for all situations right now, I don't think that's possible. I think you really have to have each employee sit down with their supervisor and maybe their manager and work out a plan that works for not only you, the employer, but also for the employee as well. Yeah. Sure. These are from not only personal experience, but also from what we're hearing from our staff now that they've been back home and or back to the office and might have to look at going back home once school starts. But some of the points that we hear a lot of is the biggest thing is to maintain your morning routine. Just because you don't have that long commute in the morning and you don't really have to dress for work, it helps. Our our employees that did maintain that routine and even added to it, if they had a long commute normally, they did a workout instead of that commute time so that they were just as prepared for the day as they were, before. So keep your morning routine. Try to set up a workspace that is comfortable for you with minimal distractions. That was a big one. We had quite a few employees. It was tough. You might be in a Teams or a Zoom meeting, and the dog comes up to your leg and starts barking, or you hear your kids fighting in the background, and all that stuff that kids do. So try to find a space that will have minimal distractions. Set rules with your family. I know that was very important for me. That hey, when Dad's working. Pretend that he's not here. Pretend he's at the office, so that he can get his job done. And last but not least, take time for some breaks. Don't sit at that computer at 8:30 in the morning and not get up until lunch, and not get up again until 4 or 5 o'clock whenever your day ends. Take those little 10-minute breaks, stand up, walk away, and then get back into it. You want to keep your at-home work as close to what you did in the office as possible. So to get up to walk and get a glass of water, just to break up the monotony of sitting at your desk all day. Those are just some of the tips that I've been hearing since everybody's been back as to what was successful.
Thank you, Tom. I actually have been just told that we have a few people that haven't heard me on Facebook. So just to recap, we were talking with Tom from Midwest HR. He has brought up some awesome ideas on how to work from home, some policies that have to be maintained by an employer, and things that we need to do as employees and employers to maintain and keep going forward with everything in today's society. As we go forward, Tom brought up some great ideas. If you guys have any questions on the HR side, please go ahead and find Tom at Midwest HR, or go ahead and find them on social media at Midwest HR. They're a great company. They've provided an abundance of information and knowledge and guidance to BKS over the years, and we enjoy working with them. If you have any questions about any IT-related issues or security, please feel free to go ahead and comment or reach out to us at BKS Systems on social media. We are always more than willing to, sit down and have conversations. I'm sure Tom will too. Tom, do you have any last thoughts?
Midwest HR couldn't have done it without BKS. I mean, really, within 3 days, we were able to send the entire staff home, and knock on wood, we had very, very minimal issues from working from home as it relates to IT and our computer equipment.
Thanks again, Tom. And I look forward to talking again soon. And hopefully the next time we talk, it'll be about something, a different policy. And we're not talking about a work from home or something that is related to the COVID issues as of late. So Tom, thanks again. And we'll talk to you again really soon. Everybody have a great day. Find us all on social media at BKS-Systems or at Midwest HR. Thanks, guys.